Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss The First Purge. Now this movie is from 2018 and it stars Y'lan Noel and Lex Scott Davis. Now before we get into all things legal for 12 straight hours, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss. You know what? The scariest thing about these Purge films is that this could actually happen in today's universe. Whew. Lord, I know one thing. When I get to purging, I ain't wearing this. It's hot.
Go back.
Now that you guys have hopefully subscribed to see more of me, let's get into this movie. But before we jump into the video, I have to give a shout out to the person who paid for and requested this film. So if you happen to want to catch a body after this video, it's not because of me, it's because of this person right here. Thank you so much for supporting me and paying for this content. Now getting into this movie was directed by Gerard McMurray. He also directed Burning Sands, and he was also assistant producer on Fruitvale Station. Now our writer, on the other hand, James DeMonaco, he created the entire Purge franchise, and this is actually the first movie that he did not personally direct, along with the Forever Purge, but the previous 3 films were all directed and written by him. He also wrote The Negotiator, Jack, and Assault on Precinct 13. Now, even though the Purge films have been highly successful, especially after the first installment, it also has a series. I never really got invested, maybe beyond the first 2 films, and I didn't really continue to watch. It felt like with each installment, the writer lost sight of what it really meant to purge someone. That hint of our everyday current society not being too far from this. That feeling of inciting a purge to decrease population and demand. That good feeling of people walking around in these disguises, these masks. Your everyday friendly neighbor could be hiding their true intentions and really take advantage of you and want to do multiple things if given the opportunity. Legalizing everything from murder to assault to robbery and everything in between for 12 straight hours. I thought the premise was really factual and really creative, but by the time we got to maybe the 3rd film, I felt like we were getting more into the antics, the themes, and the costume choices than what the Purge actually meant in the first film. I'm so glad to say that the First Purge film, for me, ran a little deeper, had something to say, and it was the most successful out of all 5 movies, even the first one. Let's talk about why. Now this movie is of course a prequel to all the films that came before, and we get to see how the very first initial purge started. The world is currently dealing with the housing crisis, rioting, unemployment rates are really high, inflation is insane, disease and pandemics are running rapid. Sounds familiar, don't it? Now the NFFA are initiating the first purge on Staten Island due to its isolation and its small population, which just so happens to be filled with Black and brown people who may live in neighborhoods that have housing projects that are drug filled, have slumlords, just deprived, disenfranchised, poor, it's impoverished, just going downhill, which in most cases doesn't negate all of the great hardworking people who live there. But we need to kill off some of the population to decrease the high demand when there's just not enough funding to go around. Why not start with these communities who need the most help and probably require the most assistance from the government? The Purge experiment starts here. Notice I said experiment. Now, what I love the most about this movie were the callbacks to Black people being experimented on. This whole NFFA, the whole Purge situation was never about being a survivalist. This was always about who was the most disposable and who didn't matter. In many circumstances, such as this one, it's always the Black people who are poor, angry, depleted, and frustrated, and we use all of these circumstances against them. The fact that we offer the residents $5,000 if they stay for the Purge experiment and additional money if they decide to join in, all playing on those emotions of desperation. We need money, and if we could leave and go where? And why would we go anyway? Just to come back here and be broke? Who is passing up $5,000? Me, because this is a recipe for disaster and a setup. 12 whole hours with every single crime made legal, pretty much known to man. Now, most of these people are just thinking about, their finances, hiding out, how far can this really go, what's the worst that can happen, or maybe even acting a fool for momentary gain. Take some money from that liquor store I always wanted to rob. Hit up this ATM. They are not accounting for measures the NFFA are willing to take to gain results. The sickos who genuinely want to purge, commit murder, and other heinous crimes, and the factor of who is really receiving a payout if the majority of you are dead. Now, is this some groundbreaking, magnificent movie? No, I'm not saying that. This is still a Purge movie, but I do love the fact that the message here in this movie is very on the nose and very direct, even down to the factor of the NFFA standing for New Founding Fathers of America. All of our founding fathers whose names are on bills, buildings, statues, received their names and historical status on the backs of Black people, slaves. The founding father of modern gynecology, Dr. Sims, experimented on Black slaves. Whole surgical procedures and operations without any anesthesia or aftercare, severely damaging and almost killing several women. And let's not even get into shit like the Tuskegee study, Lord. Not Miss Evers' boys. Miss Evers' boys and her whole squad pissed me off. I was so mad at Alfred Woodard. Like, these are cases that we know about. This whole experimentation of bad blood that lasted from 1932 to the early 70s of poor local Alabama sharecroppers being told that they would receive free medical care and eventually money. But they were really there to observe the effects of syphilis over time. They went untreated. Their health began to fail. They were never given penicillin and were only given rub downs and placebos. Just trash. I hate it here. And I think we would be absolutely delusional just to say, oh, we've come so far. Stuff like this doesn't happen anymore. Shit. But I guess, we should get to the characters in the movie. We have Naya here. Naya is an activist. She is a big sister. She is a protester, and she is tough. She wants to protect her community as well as her young brother Isaiah, who's already slipping, slanging, and banging in these streets because he is tired of their circumstances, tired of not having anything, and he feels like they don't have many options. And he is also targeted by your local crazy crackhead by the name of Skeletor. Now, child, I don't know where they found or thought of a Skeletor who is all too happy to purge, but I love the idea in correlation to the actual Skeletor, masters of the universe, I have the power. Y'all know what's up. Like, Skeletor's entire end game in the cartoon is to, get all the power, get noticed, get that recognition. And we see Skeletor pretty much try to do that this entire movie. Not only can I kill the most people, it's just like, recognize me. Don't you see how many bodies that I am collecting? It really has nothing to do with the money. And then we also have him targeting somebody like Isaiah as to say, not only is he weaker than me, but I can also corrupt him. But I absolutely love the idea of what what Skeletor represents. He is that real menace around the neighborhood, and he's also like a Pookie, Ray Ray, Junebug mixed with crank and steroids. Like, he's a hot mess. But once we have him threaten and cut Isaiah, he has a vendetta to get back at him. He is completely frustrated, even though we knew he wasn't gonna bust a grape in a fruit fight. Like, Isaiah was pissing me off. You about to get all of us got out here. Go in the house. You supposed to go in the house. You were supposed to leave the island, and I, your sister, I wanted to stay here, protect, and be an activist, and I will see you in the morning. Isaiah puts his big sister in such a compromising position, having to go out and protect him because he wanted to sign up for the purge. All right, go outside if you want to. You're gonna be out there alone. And we also have your local neighborhood drug dealing kingpin, Dimitri, portrayed here by Y'lan Noel, aka Daniel. He completely carries this movie. I was first introduced to him, with the show Insecure, movies like The Photograph, The Weekend. He has a lot of range. He, portrays something different every single time I see him. I felt like this movie, the way that he bodied the role, it was enough for him to get other leading roles. Like, where y'all hiding this man, this fine chocolate man? Where are you guys hiding this man? He has really good, leading man energy. The way that he carried himself in this film, it was really giving me that throwback 70s, 80s, Action Jackson type of star. All of this good stunt work and fight choreography, this great strong screen presence. I looked at dude's filmography, have not been in anything since 2020. Like, all right, it's because we black, whatever. However, Dimitri starts off extremely selfish in the beginning of this movie. He is solely worried about his product, his team, his drugs, and his money, protecting all of his assets doing the purge. He really doesn't care about much else. He is also the ex-boyfriend to Naya. He still has feelings for her and wants to protect her, but he ruined his relationship with her by choosing his lifestyle and choosing himself. Oh, and Charles is also here. Steve Harris. I wanted children, Charles. Steve Harris is always here. He is the older guy on the block that is full of wisdom and is willing to stand and protect the neighborhood at all costs. Now, once the purge actually kicks off, it's not, as active as the NFFA would like it to be. Besides Skeletor on the street trying to catch a body, and the let it whip, just flip it, baby, child, just flip it right, let it whip it, baby, whip it on, now come on, baby, let's whip. Besides them old ladies on the street, outside playing with people, Isaiah and other random people running around with their contact lenses, which I thought was a nice addition. There is this, neon glare type thing going on, more darkness, and you see these piercing contacts that is used as a tracking and visual aid for the NFFA so they can give people a payout and also get real up and close and personal with the action that's occurring on the street. I thought that was a nice, little creepy addition. But besides some people who do want to do, disgusting things out there on the street, some people out there looking for a quick payout. Yeah, ATM, I've been waiting on this all day. I want all my money back. A little looting, some breaking and entering. The local low-level drug dealer who sees this as a prime opportunity to take care of somebody like Dimitri when all things are legal and he is at his most vulnerable via two little prostitutes. Child, he tried it because Dimitri was a whole assassin thug in this movie. What you thought was gonna happen? Now, of course, we do get all of this, he's a good man, Savannah, as energy coming up off of Naya and who he was once to her or to her young brother Isaiah, but he is still a cold-blooded, take no prisoner, shoot you close range murderer. Like, this is a whole killer who transitions into a hero by the end of this film. We have all of those things going on, along with people who just want to strictly hide out, wait out, and other people who are doing what black people do best, we are having a purge themed neon block party. Like, we're gonna have a good time. Like, well, oh, you thought I was feeling you? Like, we're partying. Like, what did you expect? Did you really expect us to be so frustrated, just so bothered that these people would kill each other? Being poor doesn't equate to being trash. People want help financially, they want health care, they want jobs and opportunities, not some violent outlet and 12 straight hours of mayhem. It was never in their nature. So what do? Bring in outside agitators. Oh. So often in the news when we see people protesting or maybe a little pushback and a little rioting, all of a sudden you see things escalate all the way up to here, and it's just like, what is happening? How did this increase happen so fast? Where are all of these fires coming from? All of this destruction and chaos? Most of the time, there are some outside agitators involved. I love how the white woman who started this entire thing, organized the purge, even thought of it as an option. It's like, oh my God, where did all of these people come from? Why are you doing this? This is not, what I wanted the purge to be. It was supposed to happen organically. Like, they take her out with the quickness. Girl, y'all always doing something. This was never about any experiment. This was an execution. They never planned to just simply watch and observe. They never planned to give a payout. This was to kill off a whole sector of people and disguise it as an organic purge, and they did it to themselves. Because they're poor, nobody really cares, nobody's in a position to stand up for themselves, and next year we can try to make this global because this was such a success. But Dimitri said, hold my gun. Now, Dimitri was clearly ex-military, ex-hard knock life, ex-something, along with the rest of his team, because the way that he was handling himself doing combat, along with the arsenal of weapons he had tucked away, begs the question of what was your life before you became a ruthless drug kingpin, and how did we get here? But the movie would like nothing more than for us to forget all about that. Our neighborhood dealer, oppressor, has now become our least likely savior. The movie also really picks up at this point as far as the stunt work, the fighting scenes, all of the comeback, all of, the smoke, especially when everybody surrounding Dimitri as far as team conveniently dies and he becomes a one-man army. But even in the midst of all of this, please remember to identify all of the many racist overtones, like especially when we get into these mercenaries, the attackers are donning all of this KKK garb, even the Donald Trump references, you pussy grabbing motherfucker, or even many of these outside agitators who appear to be mercenaries or dressed up as an army. We are wearing old school blackface minstrel masks, or the leader looks like every white president that we've ever known, and that he belongs in the Oval Office. But in the end, I really do love the small attention to detail when it comes to Dimitri and Naya, especially the fact that he took time to teach her survival skills and how to properly defend herself, or that he would just even go to bat, all just to rescue her. Even if he has to, drape his whole body over her to protect her, he is willing to do this for another black woman. He's a black man, we love to see it. Yes, Dimitri, sneak attack everybody. Or not even just that, but the fact that she isn't some hopeless damsel in distress, even though she is at the top level of the building and we do have this man coming to rescue her, she doesn't just go off and let him handle everything. It is very much so a team effort, and they end up protecting each other. Or even all the way in the end, the person that the government thought would benefit them the most in a purge like Skeletor ended up being a least likely savior, all in the same vein of Dimitri. When all hope seems lost, motherfuckers, Dimitri, pulls up dropping bodies. Even though he was no doubt trying to get to Isaiah it's still a service for Dimitri to get the upper hand and blow up those mercenaries. Now, according to this movie, you know, a thin project mattress just defies all means. If you happen to just maybe set off a little C4, just get under your mattress. But in the end, the bell sounds and they all survive to live and fight another day. The purge is over. Hey, what you want? You a house, you a car, 40 acres and a mule, a piano, a guitar, anything. See, my name is Lucy. I'm your dog. Ow, mother. You can live at the mall. We gonna be all right. We come in with the Kendrick to let us know we gonna be all right and we're gonna band together as a community. But are we though? Like, were we really all right? Because the purge, of course, continued on and it is bigger than ever, still destroying lives. It happens annually. We gonna be all right. Well, you guys, that was my review for The First Purge. I hope you enjoyed it. Please drop down and tell me what you think about this film and what you thought about my review. Have you seen this movie? And, you know, if you haven't, just, you know, go back and watch it and come on back and tell me what you thought. But I look forward to reading you guys' comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff because it helps me out. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.